Elise Quevedo here. Today I am joined by an individual I highly respect and admire, and I feel very blessed to be able to call him a friend. It is renowned economist and fellow global thought leader, Professor Dr. Emre Alkin from Turkey. Hi Emre, how are you today?
Hi, Elise, and in other words, l'Imperatrice.
Thank you so much for joining me. And I know you have a very busy schedule, so I am very thankful for your time to jump on this video today. Last time we saw each other, we were in London for a Trusting Tech event where we shared insights. Remember?
Good old days.
I know. I cannot wait to get back to that. So I wanted to follow up on that topic, Emre. And my first question, which I often ask, is, Emre, why should we trust emerging technologies?
Well, mainly for two reasons. First of all, there is nothing we can do about it, and the technology is growing, and we need the emerging technologies to make the life better. And secondly, we have to trust people who create technology, because otherwise we cannot grow, we cannot develop, and we cannot even breathe. So the technology is indispensable, irrevocable. And with this emerging technology, we create value. So that's why with these two reasons. First, we have nothing to do about it, so the technology will grow, and we have to be on this flow. And the second time, we will create value, otherwise the world will be on turmoil. So that's why we have to address the new technologies and also feel comfortable about the emerging technology.
Wow, what a great answer, Emre. So then let's talk about the main challenges of artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. How can society overcome them? You're a professor, and I always share the importance of education to overcome maybe some of these challenges. Can you share your views on this topic?
Yeah, gladly. First of all, the main challenge for the artificial intelligence is the human intelligence, because we like our intelligence much better than the artificial intelligence, any other intelligence in the universe, by the way. So we are so stubborn, we are so, headlong about our intelligence, which is not true, actually. It's not a good attitude. What we have had so far in this coronavirus process, people understood little by little, not fast, but little by little, the importance of the artificial intelligence and the digital inclusion, and also have a better digital infrastructure in their own life. So they have a big question in their heads. Do we need so much people to work? Do we need so much square meters to work? Do we need that much of analog technologies to work? So those are the questions that people are asking to themselves and their business partners as well. And I think the main challenge was our intelligence, but not anymore. So if you remember when we were in London, I said the phrase and I underlined it, our intelligence is the best challenge actually against the artificial intelligence. But now human is thinking, what we have done so far, why the system is so fragile, so why we insist on these conventional technologies and analog technologies? And now it's taking its toll. In Istanbul, the first day of this lockdown, 149,000 firms were closed. It's a killer. Regarding Barcelona, if you compare the other cities, which means nobody has, for 40 days, nobody has so far any penny. And some of the people, actually, they're ruling, they're managing the business from far, from distant, and they're using the digital technologies, and they understood that, we don't need so much people in those square meters, so we can go on with this digital technology, even after, the post-coronavirus, era. Now, we have one bunch of people, they're very sorry, because they cannot manage their business with the digital infrastructure because they don't have it. But on the other hand, we have some lucky people, not lucky, but also intelligent people, but before coronaviruses, they made their investment and they were not against the artificial intelligence, and they're making their business, 60% of of their original performances, which is good, actually.
Wow, I love what you've said, Emre, and you've touched the current situation that we're living in, Emre, which of course we're starting to see the light in many countries. I'm currently in Spain. As you know, I got stuck here during the lockdown, but countries are starting to have the measures. I know it's still a 6 to 8 week process of doing things differently, getting back to a new normal, but technology and social media are playing a crucial role in keeping people connected, and both businesses and individuals, just like you've mentioned, have adapted and also started to see social and technology in a new way. For example, I was reading one of your newsletters, which I get every day, of course. And guys, if you haven't signed up, please do. Emre Alkin's morning newsletters are amazing. You mentioned on one of them that since the COVID-19 outbreak, since this coronavirus, you have been interacting with more people, especially friends you haven't seen in a long time. So what changes have you seen, and what are your predictions when it comes to the use of technology and social media over the next few months, but for businesses?
If you remember, I'm older than you, which means I belong to the X generation, and you are the beginning of the Y generation. So there is a clash between those two generations. We need the human touch, and we like the hierarchy, first of all. But little by little, in this coronavirus, in the first day, it was catastrophic. People were terrified, and they don't know what they're going to do and stuff. Of course, there's also a suspicion about the new technologies, because the answer of the first question will be followed like this. The new book of the Amin Maluf, he says, not the clash, but the sinking of the civilization. He says that if you have enough technology and enough alibi, you can control everybody. So in the first days of this coronavirus, people take care about, there's somebody out there, a big brother, watches them with Zoom and, with Microsoft Team and any other American technologies or the Chinese technologies, but we just shake it off right away in 1 week. So now with House Party, with Zoom, and with Microsoft Team and Google, I don't know, what, Instagram heavily, people were chatting to each other, and they just share their own opinions and ideas, their pain, their happiness, and it grows. When you share your pain, it diminishes. When you share your happiness, enlarges. So that's why the Turkish people are always like that. We have a strong community, and we are so much stick to each other, just like in Spain, you can imagine. So most of the guys or the ladies that I didn't see for, 30 years, from the high school and for university, they just calling me. I said, "Hey, bro, how are you? We spent a long time no see like that." I say, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm on digital. Just call me from Instagram, call me from House Party, call me from WhatsApp." Then people are now more socialized than ever, and because of these 3 codes that we are learning today, the first one is the self-confrontation. Because when we just get home in Spain, in London, in Turkey, it doesn't matter. We only see the people in home for 3 hours, half an hour in the morning for the breakfast. And when you get back home from the job, what you do is 2.5 hours, half-hour dinner, maybe some chat with the family, Netflix and stuff. Then it's done. You say, good night. Nobody knows each other at all, even you, yourself. You don't look at the mirror right into your eye. You only look at the mirror to brush your hair. Not me, but I have a short hair. But you always do that. But you didn't do we all didn't do this self-confrontation issue. Who am I? What I'm headed to? Am I a good guy or good lady? Am I, making charity to people? What kind of a person I am? Am I manageable? Am I a hard person? All the people are asking those questions, and little by little they understand actually the character of all the people they are living with, which means the mother, for example. The mother is a mother. The mother may be a general manager, maybe a diva like you, but you are not a diva in home. You are a lady, you are a mother, you are a sister, you're a friend. So, which means, except all this, all these, well, titles and titre in French, we say, you're a human being. So now we just discovered this human being with the self-confrontation. The second thing is self-sufficiency. All the little things that we have to do in home, we always call for experts, which means even the change in the lamp, which is stupid for me. I can change my lamp. I can even, repair some of the electrical devices in home. I can do it because I'm the X generation, so I'm 50. Okay, we get used to do this. So people little by little understand the physical exercises in home without having a, counselor, without having a sports coach and stuff like that. With the family, people start to do some physical exercises, which in Turkey is a killer. Because in OECD, they ask a question. In 1 week, do you exercise half an hour? This is the least answer from Turkey. We had the least answer, which means we don't do nothing. And 41% of the Turkish population is obese, in obesity. So which means we have to do physical exercise. And when I see on this Instagram, all the posts, if they are not live, of course, all right, I make some discount, but 35% of the Turkish people now started to exercise, which means it's self-sufficiency. And they can cook now. They understood that they can even cook. They don't have to go out from home and go to a restaurant. They can even cook. They can even make a bread. So that's very hard, by the way. So that's cool. And passions, the third code. The passions is the key. Why is the key? Because I remember the famous phrase of the Mitch McConnell, the majority leader of the Republicans in the US. He said, if you have enough courage to get up and claim, you have to have enough passions to sit down and listen to the answer. So people now started to understand the importance of the passions. And these are three codes that we learn from this interaction in the COVID process, from Instagram, from Zoom, from Microsoft Team, and whatever you can imagine as a tool. It's very important. So the self-confrontation, self-sufficiency, and passions. I just enough talk, I think, then now it's your turn. Sorry.
Wow, Emre, this is again why I love talking to you. You make it so clear, and I especially love your last point because it's something that I also am very passionate about, which is passion. Find your passion for something. Pretty much there is 192 countries out of 195 that are in pretty much lockdown. And all had extra time. We're all having extra hours. So what are you doing with them? If you were in a maybe business or a job that you were not happy with, now you've got extra time to learn a skill, to play an instrument. For example, I see your guitar behind you, which for those that you don't know, guys, Emre is also a musician. He plays amazing. Maybe he'll play for us a little bit. I don't know.
Okay.
Learn to play the guitar, piano, sing, learn another language, learn another skill. Me, for example, although I travel a lot and my world is social and digital media, I was not doing as many videos. Even you, Emre, we've been doing a lot more videos, and I'm editing myself, and I'm learning how to do these things that normally a third party does, because I find it interesting. So use the extra time you have to do more, because social and technology is here to stay for sure. So now I have a question that is focused on your main field of expertise, which is economy. Emre, what has changed in the economy with digital inclusion? And can you give us your overall view on what will happen around the world?
Well, so far so good. We were going so good. And the COVID-19 actually showed us that the digital inclusion is very useful for the economy, not for the growth. Growth is easy. It's very easy. Even you and me, we can found a firm, and in 1 week we can, grow. Development is the key. What I mean development is justice, education, freedom. So if we don't have these three pillars, in our economy, even the best technology cannot bring you somewhere good. I remember the last book on Stephen Hawking. After this, he died. He was a very, very intelligent man, as you can imagine. And he said, even though you have the biggest computer, if you put lousy data in it, you will have lousy results. So you can have the best of the technology, but it doesn't mean that it will bring you somewhere, excellent, somewhere good. First of all, you have to be enough open to open data. So if the economies are not open to open data, you will have nowhere. For example, you're planning, but planning for what? You don't know the number of the machinery you have. You don't know the average age of the machinery, the critical infrastructure. You don't know the age of the digital infrastructure, how much you have as fiber optic cables, and the human resources. You don't know how much men and how much a woman are working, what is the average of the education and stuff, blah, blah. So if you don't have the correct data, you won't have correct results, even though you have the best, the digital infrastructure or the artificial intelligence or the best, computers you have. So which means it's all about human. And so with the digital inclusion for the development and for the benefit of the people, but if you don't have enough justice, enough education, and enough freedom in your country, it will serve to nothing. It will only serve to monitor the people, control the people, control their movement, just like the Big Brother in George Orwell's 1984 novel. So that's why to create a better environment with digital inclusion not only requires the best technology, but the best approach to the human life. And it's all about the state, it's all about the firms, it's all about the families. So education doesn't mean the education in school. First of all, we have to do the education in home, which means the father and the mother has to be example about justice, about freedom to talk, first of all. So, and also the education. So justice, freedom, education is the key for a better digital inclusion.
Wow, thank you so much, Emre. And I love how you actually said that it starts at home. Many people tend to put blame on a third party, on the government, on everybody else, which of course we do, because everything is a collaboration to take things further. But education and understanding, it begins at home. And I think this is why we need more people like yourself, who are, a professor, a spokesperson, you're on TV 3-4 times a week, radio shows, newspapers, and you share your wisdom, which is absolutely incredible. And my next question is gonna talk on something that you mentioned earlier. You spoke
about if you put enough technology on your conventional infrastructure, you can even grow more than 24% of your projectional growth rate, first of all. So that is calculated very well with the Huawei and Oxford economists. So that's why I would like to underline that that's very critical. If you put enough technology, even on your conventional work, you grow 24% more than you expected. Your expectation. So that is the key. So
that is a big number. That is definitely a big number. And I remember the Oxford paper that was done with Huawei. I did a little write-up on that as well, and it was very interesting because it was very factual. There was lots of figures, which is what a lot of people, especially economists like yourself or governments or agencies, are after. What are the actual numbers? What is the actual ROI and the impact of technology or what we're doing in society right now? And earlier on you mentioned, for example, the difference in age or the difference, of the generations, from the baby boomers to the X, the Y, the Z. And you often mention that the youngsters are now not keen to work in traditional and conventional sectors. So why and where are they likely to work today and in the future? Because especially now, a lot of the commercial spaces are not going to reopen when this pandemic is over.
They will be freelancers, first of all. There is a statistics released in United States, and in 2027, there will be more freelancers than the payroll people. So I remember the governor of the California was opposed to this idea. Now he's okay. Why? Because all the people are working from home. So now he understood the importance of it. He was very against it because the conventional mind of the X generation and the baby boomers, they always think that people has to be in the job, which was in the factory or in the firm or stuff. Actually, it's rubbish. Well, why? Because you don't have to work on the, big meter squares, the headquarters, the famous, the buildings, tall buildings. We don't need this. Actually, we only need one computer and, a decent size of technology in your home, and you can do it from distance. For example, I'm giving my lessons. Every Monday, I have 6 hours of lessons in university, and in total 14 hours. And I'm very glad to have it on my computer. All the people are coming there. We are talking, we are chatting. I've taken their opinion, they've taken my opinion, and that's cool, which is possible. And the youngsters likes to work just like a freelancers, first of all, and they don't like hierarchy at all. The hierarchy is something that we created, which means the hierarchy people is somebody who controls the people, not the job. But our duty today is control the business, not the guy, not the lady, not the people. So controlling the people is a sickness. So then you understand that you're a boss. But we don't need a boss anymore. We need leaders, which means the maestro of an orchestra. Imagine that the maestro says that, hey, the pianist, I don't like you. Get away like that. We don't do that. Even though you don't like the people, you just respect it, because we are not working in hierarchy anymore. We are just working like a network. And the best network I ever seen is an orchestra, with the piano, with the violin, all the things and everybody has somehow the same importance. Without one instrument or one player of this instrument, you cannot be an orchestra, which means everybody has to do their own job appropriately. And I remember there was a lady who was asking a job from me many years ago, and I liked her. I said, yeah, you got a job. And the second question was that, what's going to be written on my business card? I say, Queen of Scotland, did you like it? And she was shocked. I said, can you fulfill it? Whatever I write on your business card, it's not important, because once you do the job appropriately and you put an extra on it, first of all, everybody will remember with your name, not with your title. Names are more important than the titles. She understood. Now she's making 40% of our turnover in the company. Now she's the most important person, but everybody knows her with her name, not with the title. She's not called the deputy general manager. She's called with her name. That's what the important thing lies. The name, not the title. The job, not the people. So making the thing good is the most important. That's why we are a bit confusing in the head that the management and being corporate. So the corporate actually decided what we have to do, and the management does what is necessary. So this is two different things. So that's why in the companies with the digital inclusion, we understand more and more what is the role of the board of directors, what is the role of the professionals, and what is the role of the employees in the company. So we don't mix up. If you don't mix up, we have more value added. If you mix up, or the company goes bankruptcy, or it's very pain and everybody started to leave one by one. So that is bad management. So that's why with the digital inclusion, we understand our Chinese wall better than ever.
Wow, Emre, the one thing that I love, and of course this is why we get along, is that you focus on the value of people. It is something that I also share, because sometimes people have all these fancy titles and these buzzwords that make them feel they're very important, but then you go beyond that and you see at the value, and there's no value. A title, yes, they are needed. This is what society created, but it's not what defines a person. And with the younger generation, the same. We've got, in 30 years, for example, we're going to have jobs that don't even exist today as yet. So what's in a title? Have to think more about what is the value, what are you passionate about, and what can you offer to a brand, to an individual, to a company, and to yourself. If you don't do that first.
We call it good governance.
Correct.
So governance is the most important thing. So the good governance describe every role in the orchestra, and we just do it in a harmony. So this is good governance, not the clashes, not the fights, not the disputes. Of course we can have disputes, we are human after all. But even we can drive value from disputes, because the disputes are for better, not for worse. So that is the governance. Good governance is the key here. And digital.
I love that you used the music example, the orchestra, because we're both passionate about music. We come from a music background too, and it's perfect because it's cohesive. You don't always need to see everybody to understand who is directing the whole thing. And one instrument, of course, like your guitar behind you, can create greatness. But when you put it together with the drums and the violins and the piano and the singer and then the director that tells you where to go and when to play, wow, that's when you have what you call the orchestra that blows you away. And
so every instrument completes the current.
Correct.
If one goes out, there will be diminishment.
Exactly. Perfect sentence. And I would love to talk to you for the rest of the day. But I've got one last question for today, which is, what is the one key takeaway you would like people to remember when it comes to technology and innovation for 2020?
Yeah, actually, it's very early to talk if you ask me, but I would like to say two things. First of all, the first takeaway is the importance of the consultation. I mean, people have to consult, which means that experienced people and the youngsters has to get together from digital, please, don't, not physically, but from digital, and talk about the future of the business, first of all, consultation. The second thing, create the resilience of the work, which means, inshallah, it won't happen, but it's going to be a second wave of this pandemic outbreak. You have to think about it, what's going to happen next. If the company is resilient, so you have to create this resilience by this consultation. The third thing, preparation for the day one, because it's not going to take forever. So it's going to be a day one that we will get back to work. So when we get back to work, how we will work? But a lot of people like that, with those meter squares, more digital inclusion, or more devices, anything. So you have to be very aware that the day one, you have to be ready for the start. And it's going to be a kickstart, just like a motorcycle. You have to push hard. But until then, you have to be very careful, and you have to be ready for with all the consultations and the mediums of the resilience that you will create. So the fourth thing is finding the new normal. What's going to be the new normal right after the coronaviruses? I mean, the post-coronaviruses is going to be new normal. Everybody says that nothing will be the same. No, actually, everything will be the same. But we will do the same thing with another manner, which was more digital, less people, less meter squares and stuff. So also, all the amendments, all the laws will be changed for the airways, for the travels, for some social works and stuff. So social distancing issue will be more important. For 1 year or 2 years, there will be some legislations, amendments, some laws regarding this on sickness that we are now facing. So that's why finding the new normal also requires consultation, resilience, and the preparation, which means what's going to be the future of the business. And the last thing, get ready for the change. The only thing that we cannot escape is change. Even the most stubborn people say that I don't change. It's rubbish, you change. So get ready for the change willingly, not in an unconventional manner, just willingly, just get changed. Just leave yourself to the flow. So you always have to understand that maybe Carl Sandburg said the best thing. He said that I don't know where I'm going, but I'm on my way. So just leave yourself to the flow and leave to the change. Don't resist to change. It's going to hurt. So leave to change.
Wow.
That is the 5 takeaway that I can tell you.
Incredible. It is like that sentence that says it is not the strongest nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that adapts the most, which is change.
Yeah.
So with all the wisdom you have, Emre, are there any, not technology related or anything, but any lasting words that you would like to leave us with before we end this video?
If you remember, it's not very far from you. 4,000 years ago, there was a school called Salamanca. In the Salamanca school, we have Thomas d'Aquina, who was a good believer and also an intelligent guy. He says that for a true believer, no explanation is necessary, but for an unbeliever, no explanation is possible. So that's why keep on moving and always know that discovery will never fail. So try to discover the world in another way, not with a conventional way.
Wow, thanks again. So there you have it, guys. This was Elise Quevedo in talks with the incredible Professor Dr. Emre Alkin. Thanks again so much for jumping on this video, Emre, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye, Emre.
Inshallah.